Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Star Trek New Horizons mod for Stellaris with me, Alfapiomega, and the Tholian Assembly. So this is the start of a new session. I actually ended the last one, I think, without saying so. It was about 14 days ago. And I started this one by doing a close investigation of some of the features that our Empire have. And I have decided thus that we will do several sort of reforms that should make our Empire a bit stronger and a bit more defensible. So, what are these reforms? Well, first of all, I'm gonna look into a thing of our colonies. Now, we have two Frau worlds, Talar and Wysapia. This is closely connected, what I'm gonna speak about, to the fact that we are... Well, we have 179 trained officers in reserve now, but that is insanely low. You remember that when I started building the ships that, or started rebuilding the ships that we have lost to the conflict with the World Eater, I have encountered the problem that we don't really have that many trained officers. So I investigated my worlds, and it led me into the investigation of the Frau worlds, which is, you know, doing a little loop around back to what I was speaking about. It's a bit complicated, so bear with me. I am not entirely versed in this, and I have to mention that there's this huge update that we're playing has changed so many things that I still have a bit of a problem dealing with it. So, the main issue that I have here are the Frau worlds. We really don't have that many ways how to produce the trained officers. You can see that most of them comes from the admiral that's located on Folia Prime. But I noted that we also have another admiral on Talar. This is because this is a Savannah-class planet, and the Savannah-class planet makes our Tholian thrive there. Not to mention that we do have a number of steam chambers that the technicians here... No, wait, that's not... Is that technician? I don't... No, engineer. Engineers, where are you? Here, maintenance engineers. So they produce a lot of energy and research, and that makes our Tholians happy there. We still have a problem with the amenities. By the way, I think that in the last episode or the episode before, I mixed up the amenities with consumer goods, and for a moment I even thought that they were the same thing. But this admiral is also producing quite a lot of trained soldiers. Now, this led me into the idea that we might want to have the admiral here as well. Matter of the fact is, though, that this is one of the positions that's not working for us. The admiral here has a 0% habitability, and thus he would die. On the other hand, I found out that our Tholian here is truly dying. Its population is declining, and there is not much we can do with this. I really don't know why, because the Frau world has these special positions like the Overseer and the Enforcer, which increase or have an increased habitability of 200%. I think this system might be a bit broken, because you can see that our population of the Tholians is declining. I could, however, do this, and it's gone. I really think this is a bug. I'm not gonna say it's not, but I think it is a bug, and I have no idea why the population is declining here. I suspected that my people on Talar were dying, and I did not really check it up until now, because I believe that the system will work. It does not, as you can see. It really does not. So, it's a bit weird. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is now, I'm not gonna put the admiral there because that would be really an issue for the game. This really I did just because I think this is a bug. But even the Overseer and the Enforcers, they produce a bit of soldiers. Now, as we are rebuilding the fleet and we really have a problem with our trained officers, I think this should be one of our priorities. So I investigated some of the worlds, and we do have a couple of people here and there that we could use. Not on Folia. Well, actually, we do have them even on Folia. We could move one of these clerks there. Though those are worker positions. And I'm considering whether or not... I think it would be good to build a civilian industrial center here, but... Cora has 6. Okay, Kila could send 1 billion people there. I guess Halmon could as well. Unless we really decide to build... Well, we could build... Oh, we're building the Javanite artisan shop here already. Okay, so that's the thing. So these will produce the necessary consumer goods, so no need to worry about that. Lander could, but I would not like to do that, and Cockerham could. Yeah, Cockerham. So let's move these people now, and make sure that Talar is properly inhabited. Oh, we have it here. Okay. So what were the worlds? We wanted one from Lander. There's the student workers. Oh, here's a Tama worker colonist. That's too little. I guess it has to be the Lander then. Okay, let's move one. And you know what? We're gonna move people from Folia. The clerk. And I don't really think we need the alloys at this point, so let's put 2 of them. So how's the situation on Tower looking now? I think we are done, yeah. We have 3 overseers and 2 enforcers, and that should work well. Now again, the biggest issue that we have at the current point is the lack of population. So we really need to grow it. In this case, we have both worlds that we occupy fully taken care of. We really don't need a police officer here. So I think I'm gonna rebuild. This is the regional academy. Wait, the police officer comes from where? Specialist. Do we have like a overseer jobs? Who produces? Oh, the slave processing facility. Okay. But this one doesn't really work well for us if we don't have the bonus to habitability. So let's destroy this building. Oh no, it produces a slave output, and okay, let's keep it. But what I'm gonna destroy is this. I can repair this regional academy, and then I'm gonna replace these naval headquarters because they do very little in of their own, and instead I'm gonna build something else that could work for us. What could we do? I really wish we could get the recruit academy, but we can't because that's exactly the job that we don't want. Matter fabricator, maintenance engineer job. Okay, that's gonna produce, yes, maintenance engineer. And I'm gonna do my best to see how we could improve the amenities on the Frau world of Lysapia, but at this point I don't really see many ways how we could do this. You are completely useless, so let's replace you with something else as well. There's something that we could get. What would you? Maintenance engineer job, housing, entertainment center. I think the entertainment job is a regional or an okay one. So let's build a dilithium refinery instead. That one will give us a maintenance engineer, and our people can do this. Furthermore, I have noticed that our current species setting is not actually okay. We have, I think the Tholians are set correctly. Yeah, they have migration control enabled so they can't move around. But the Sapiens don't have that for some reason. So we're gonna enable the migration control. And we are gonna enable the same thing on the Ugarlak. So let's put the migration control up. Okay. Now, these are the main things. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the declining population. What I think I'm gonna do, just for safety measure, eventually, once the Stellarians grow a bit, I'm going to switch the declining population to them for I don't know what reason. It might fix it, it might not. I'll have to see what this is gonna do. It might just be that the world is so hostile to the Tholians that they can't really survive there, even with all of these bonuses. But yeah, you know, I guess that if we switch the Tholians to being the declining species, I don't know, we'll probably heat up the ovens with them or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. That was horrifying. Okay, more news. I have decided that even though that we are on the max Starbase capacity, we can go easily over it. We're currently paying, what, 138 for the stations. Even if we doubled it, I think we'll be okay. And if we double it, that would mean we need 4 extra star bases. So I think I'm gonna build 2 here, and I think I'm gonna build 2 at the border with, yeah, 2 at the border with the Cardassians, because I really don't trust them. It might be wise. So let's go with the Bayer system. Upgrade the starbase here. Upgrade the one in Wilmot. Yeah, Wilmot is a bit more. And I'm gonna build 2 here to secure the border with the Niberite Alliance. Furthermore, to signal our future intents, I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to declare rivalry with the Binars. Yeah, they're inferior, so we can. And I am going to make claims on their world. Just for good measure, you know. They are our future target. So, I guess that's all for now. The technologies are being researched. We have successfully given orders to where we need. And I'll have to keep an eye on the trained officers because we're building quite a lot of ships. And I won't lie, our current situation is not exactly awesome. Where's the shipyard that we have here? Folia. Just the cruiser itself requires 449 trained officers, and I think that the upkeep is something like 7 officers. Okay, this cruiser is taking 3.96. The destroyer is taking 1.26. And I can see the patrol frigate, but I think it's gonna be much less. Okay, but as you can see, the cruiser itself is just 4 officers, so we can't really build that many of them. Not to mention that our... Oh, what about the Taurarian armies that we have? Upkeep 0.25. And what about the Tholian armies? 1. How costly are they to build? 100. I don't want that. 3 are okay, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so that's all for now, and I'll see you when things start happening. Well, we were lucky this time. I got another of the plague outbreaks, this one on Sathama, and thank God nobody died this time. keeps happening, but we really can't do much about it. And there's another project that we have currently under research, and that is a distress call at Sturil 7. So I'm letting my ship investigate, and we'll see what it gives us. Usually that does give a decent amount of bonuses. Distress call. Arriving at the source of the distress call near Sturil 7, the TAV Blue Tarantula is able to determine that the ship in distress appears to be trapped near the event horizon of a Type 4 quantum singularity. While contact cannot be established between the vessel due to the subspace interference, the chief engineer suggests using a subspace tractor beam to pull the vessel out of the grip of the singularity. The option is not without risk, however, and the tactical officer advises against the move. Let's try it. The subspace tractor has penetrated the singularity's event horizon, but not before the emitter power relay is overloaded with the strain of the operation. The TAV Blue Tarantula is heavily damaged by the resulting explosion and begins to fall towards the singularity. Switch to backup and maintain the tractor. We're all in. Switching to secondary relays, the subspace tractor continues to pull the other vessel closer. Sensor readings are limited, but the ship appears to be surrounded by a shimmer of chronoton particles. As the two ships come closer still, the secondary relays overheat and explode, disabling the tractor beam. A series of smaller explosions occur along the EPS grid through the cargo bay, killing several. While repairs begin, the chief engineer suggests establishing a dampening field around the exterior sensors in order to help clear up the distress call from the other ship. Establish. That's interesting. What the hell is happening?
Construction complete.
Subspace anomaly. The dampening field is established around the external sensors, and slowly the interference blocking the other vessel's transmission is compensated for. The crew are astonished to hear the voice of Captain Moranon. Reciting his initial hail to the trapped ship, which imaging improvements now show to be an exact duplicate of the TAV Blue Tarantula. The science officer believes that the other ship is a temporarily distorted mirror image, and that the TAV Blue Tarantula itself is trapped inside the subspace bubble. The crew theorize that a stream of warp particles fired from the main deflector may be able to punch a hole through the subspace bubble. Alternatively, a Tetrion pulse might dissipate the bubble entirely. Let's fire a Tetrion pulse. We're all in now. The warp particles have created a hole in the subspace bubble, but it measures on a few tens of meters across. Captain Moranon believes a Dekion beam fired from a shuttlecraft close to the breach may be able to widen the hole further. Approaching the breach, the shuttle fires the Dekion beam, and the gap widens to several hundred meters, easily enough to fit the TAV Blue Tarantula through. The shuttle sensors are disabled by the subspace distortion, however, and the captain is forced to determine which of the two TAV Blue Tarantula images on the screen is real and which is the temporary reflection. The vessel to port, which faces the breach, or the vessel to starboard, which faces away from it. The starboard, I guess. Captain chose incorrectly, as the shuttle passed through the reflection of the TAV Blue Tarantula. As the subspace breach is rapidly closing, Captain orders the TAV Blue Tarantula to race toward the breach in the subspace bubble and escape. On the other side, in real space, Captain Moranon orders the same approach used to pierce the surface area of the subspace bubble, eventually causing the entire region to evaporate in a burst of neutrinos. Captain Moranon is presumed dead. Oh no, our scientists have died. Well, let's recruit a new one. An expert on... Where are you? On propulsion. Cool. In the meantime, I have started... we finished the Geminite Artisan shop here, which provides us with consumer jobs. That is good. Consumer goods jobs. That's what I wanted to say. -5 is reasonable. We might fix that. And I am almost done with changing the naval headquarters here to matter fabricator. I'm actually thinking that this might... Yeah, it still claims that the Tholians are declining here. I'm not really that bothered. I'm also thinking about removing the Overseer administration. I don't know what... We do have... Oh, we don't have housing here. I see, from buildings from districts. Okay, let's build a slave district instead and one energy district. I'm thinking that the game might be a bit confused by us having these two jobs that do not offer any special any reasonable positions for the people. I'm not entirely sure how to deal with it. I'm still trying to investigate. On a more interesting note, I realized one thing. I think that the problem of the amenities here is caused by the massive amount of steam chambers that we have built. So I'm switching them one by one, or I'm trying to switch them one by one to additional or different things. Because we're not growing the Tholians here, and they have 100% habitability just from their jobs, and I think one of these would be more than enough for the entire population of the Tholians living on Lysapia. The stations are upgrading, the fleets are being built, and once those are finished, how are we doing now? Almost done. We're gonna send those fleets to claim the Megara system. I've already put my construction and science ship here, so 2 fleets will go there. I'll need to keep an eye on the current situation of trained officers. We really need to make a bit of reserve for us for the future, because if we increase our fleets further, it will be an issue, a long-term issue, and as you don't really have choices in this, I need to be careful. And I think the naval headquarters will be possible to build on Lander once we upgrade this planet to a regional capital, if we can, and the same on Satama, but we really can't do it now. I'm considering moving some of the populations from Folia and other places once they grow enough to these worlds to speed up the process, but yeah, look at that. We're growing everywhere. It's getting better. Yeah, we have 64 billion Tholians now. Let's hope the numbers will keep increasing. So, I guess that's all for this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.